When someone has a passion for what they do, it comes through in the product they provide their customers. Just ask LaRocco's Pizza's new owner, Jason Johnson, about their crust. They make it every day and let it rise for a minimum of 24 hours before they use it for their pizza. And his staff doesn't want to do anything they won't be the best at, and you can taste it in their pizza. LaRocco's Pizza, just a half block north of the I-470 Engaged Boulevard exit. Come taste the difference.
It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Preferred Advisors.
Good Saturday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, Associate Broker with eXp Realty, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. Today I'm here with Tammy Thiesson of Thiesson Design Company. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on the show today.
I'm really excited because you have a design firm, and we had met over a women's lunch, and I just think it's awesome. I think it's great what you're doing, and it's kind of something I really enjoyed doing too,
yes.
But not professional. Just, I try not to mess my own house up.
Right. Yes. No. I love what I do. So we're a design firm, but we're a little bit of a hybrid company. So we do interior design and home design, but then we also handle our renovations ourselves. So we take the process fully from the design part all the way until the whole remodel is done.
So tell me, how long have you been doing this?
We are a new company. So we're about a year and a half, almost 2 years into kind of our hybrid company of Thiesson Design Co. I've been doing it longer than that, but went out on my own a couple of years ago now, and we've grown really fast. So we have a design department now, and then we also have a construction side to our business. So we have both of those businesses running in-house for us.
So tell me, you don't just do big projects, right? You run the gamut pretty much.
Yeah. So we kind of do everything. A lot of our projects are what we consider whole home remodels. So, someone's considering taking out a wall. We're going to come in. We're going to design that for them. That usually means expanding a kitchen. But getting that open concept a lot of people are after. So those are our whole home remodels. But then, if someone needs a master bathroom done, or if we're just reflooring, or maybe just doing countertop and backsplash updates or light fixtures. We also offer just decor services. So if someone's only looking to get some new furnishings in their living room, pick out some art, curtains, that kind of thing. So we really want to make the whole, what can be a very overwhelming process, really enjoyable and really customer focused for our clients.
So tell me about your education history.
Yeah, that's a fun story. So I love talking. I actually double majored in marketing and graphic design back in college, and worked in brand management for a lot of years. And then by kind of my own track, my sister's an architect, my grandpa's a builder. So I was in this world a ton, but not professionally. And then we actually had our fourth son. And my husband and I looked at each other and were like, we got to get on some land. We've got to get on some property with these 4 boys. And so I knocked on a couple of doors, asked to buy someone's house. They were an original owner, which I, get a realtor involved because it was kind of crazy. But we really wanted a location. So we were loved this one street that had 5 acres. So when we bought our house, and we did end up employing a realtor once that was all in the mix, we started renovating it. So we did a whole home renovation. We took a 35-year-old house that was originally built by the owners, had not had any updates or renovations done to it, and completely gutted it, did an addition on the back, and that's what turned my career. So I got through that project for myself, and the 2 things I came out of it saying were, this is way too complicated for homeowners. The process is really complicated. You don't know what to pay attention to. You don't know what costs you money and what saves you money. And I felt like there was a real opportunity to provide that for other people. And then I just loved the process. I loved doing it for others. And so that was kind of, I went to work for another contractor, learned a lot there. That was a great experience, and then started my own business.
Have you met Tamara Day that does Bargain Mansions out of Kansas City?
No. Tell me about her.
She was on the radio show not too long ago. She's really sweet. You two I should introduce you to.
Yeah, I would love that.
Because you're on the same path.
Perfect. Yeah.
She's awesome. Actually, you two look like you could be sisters.
Oh, that's fun.
Seriously.
So she's doing something similar in Kansas City?
Yes. She actually just got picked up by, I don't think it's DIY. It's, she's on HGTV. Drew a total blank there for a second. But you guys, you would just hit it off.
Yeah, I would love an introduction. I'll go look her up. That sounds like a really neat show.
So basically, whenever somebody wants to employ you, how do they get a hold of you and what's the process?
Yep. We have a really active Facebook and Instagram page under Thiesson Design Co., both on Facebook and Instagram, and we will be updating all of our current projects there. And I love stories because we can share the whole design process with you, like as a kitchen remodel or bathrooms going on. So that's fun. A lot of our potential clients find us that way. Our website is www.tdesigncompany.com, and you can also reach out to us that way. But yeah, so once you give us a ring, we will set up a meeting with you right away to kind of hear about your goals for your house. I love to come in and, provide those ideas. So when people call me, they're like, I'm struggling with the size of my kitchen, or I'm struggling with how dark it is, or whatever the issue that they're having or wanting to change. We offer all of the design ideas, how, what walls need to stay or go, or how I would reconfigure their kitchen. And then, provide them an estimate, and then we can do all of the work and kind of just hold their hand through that whole process.
So you mentioned whenever you were doing your own home, it shouldn't be that hard.
Yes.
Let's talk about what parts were hard.
Yeah. So what's challenging, and that I really saw an opportunity is, the traditional way someone's going to go about a remodel is they're going to call a contractor. And what's challenging about that is for the contractor to give a good estimate, the homeowner really needs to know what they want done. And sometimes that's the hard thing. People want a recommendation or need a recommendation on what they should do. Should I gut the kitchen, or should I just paint the cabinets, or should I expand it? And so what was hard about that is, I, as the homeowner in my own situation, had to come knowing what kind of countertops I wanted, what kind of, flooring I wanted. And then there's all this lingo in this, building speak that happens. And so you'll be asked all these questions about, do you want engineered wood floors or solid wood floors? And you as a homeowner, sometimes that's really hard to know how to answer those questions. So we do that with our clients. So, I explain the benefits. And so a homeowner, never am I going to just say, what do you want? We're asking those questions of, here's how they all go together. Here's what it impacts price. Here's what doesn't, so that, the homeowner can feel like they're well educated during the process and not just like they're doing it on their own.
Chip and Joanna Gaines, anytime you're watching that show, any of them, they run into problems at some point, which is really common, believe it or not. How do you budget for those?
That's a great question, and it's a challenge. Remodeling is a harder game than building because you have unknowns for sure. We really do our homework on bringing in all of the, licensed contractors like a plumber or an electrician to take a look at it to make sure our assessments are what they are. But then we also note those items that we might run into and those issues. And so it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of having the homeowner feel comfortable with what the question marks still are and what the locked in items are. And so then that becomes a lot of question, but you do it over the years on enough projects and you kind of know what to look out for and what not to. And that's, I think, something we can provide our homeowners.
I know whenever we're selling houses, we go through the inspection phase, and I don't care what house it is, there's always something wrong.
Absolutely.
And believe me, that inspector is not leaving until they find something.
Right.
I mean, they have to feel like they earned their check.
They prove their value.
Yeah. And so there's always something. And whenever we're looking at houses, sometimes, the red flags will come up. We can't pretend to be inspectors or anything. All we can do is recommend them. But at the same time, we're showing houses, and they can't. Some people can see past it, and my friend Jess could walk in and she could tell you all the colors. I mean, if you ever need to employ somebody, the girl's got gifts. But at the same time, I've been with people and they just couldn't see it.
Right.
And so the really cool thing is that there are actually loans out there that are one and done. I know with Loan Depot, Rory has them to where you could finance that renovation. So they could call you. They could say, okay, Tiffany, Tammy,
yes,
how can we do this? What's it going to look like? And then budget that in, and it already is one price. When they close, it's already budgeted in.
That's a great, opportunity, because I get asked that question a lot, especially in the home buying situation, is how are we going to finance this? How much is it going to cost? And so that would be amazing for homeowners to know.
So let's just look at this like a normal everyday occurrence for us. Whenever we go into a house and say it's perfect location, it's the perfect layout, but the kitchen's dated or the bathrooms are dated, how could we incorporate you? What would be the first step to say, okay, this is what we need and this is how we're going to make that work?
Yep. So that would be a really typical situation for myself as well. So if you called me in that situation, we would come in and I would personally visit the house. We'd walk through it, hear, from your future homeowner what they don't like about the space. And then I make suggestions right then and there. If that's something then the client wants to pursue, then we would put together a comprehensive estimate so that they could make an educated decision on knowing how much the renovations that they desire would cost. And then if that works with their, purchase price.
Absolutely. For us, we've actually put together kind of a mathematical equation to where Rory can go in and say, okay, the house is currently appraised at this. Mm-hmm. We have this much margin.
Yep.
And so from there, you can actually kind of say, okay, well, we can do this now, and we can paint this in the time being so that it is at least more modern. So I think that would be a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. And, that's a question I get asked a lot, too, because, there are different levels for everything. Just like you can go, to Wayfair and buy a table, you can also go to Restoration Hardware and buy a table. And there's different price points on those. So understanding what price point or what the house is appraised at and what makes sense to put into it would be really fun to explore.
Absolutely. I'm one of those people that likes to rehab old furniture. Mm-hmm. And like everything in my office currently, there are probably 3 desks that were purchased.
Oh, wow.
Everything else I got, purchased, but like my desk is massive and it cost me $50.
No way.
So I went in, and at first it was kind of like the weathered look, and now all of a sudden I'm moving to a new office with hardwood floors. Right now it has carpet and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I just struggled because I had 3 different colors I wanted to go with.
Yep.
And I ended up going with navy, believe it or not.
Oh, navy is so hot right now. That's a great choice.
So hopefully it sticks around for a little bit, because you know how hard that's going to be to cover.
Right. I bet it looks gorgeous, though.
So anyway, let's just say I'm building a new house. What would make that process easier by using you?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So new homes, I always joke that it becomes decision fatigue for the homeowner, because you walk in with a gorgeous picture and you're like, I want a white kitchen. And then you show up at your cabinet meeting and they ask you 20 more questions about what parts of the white kitchen. And you think, I just wanted a white kitchen. Why is this so complicated? So by hiring us, we kind of take all of that out. First of all, on new construction, we go through and we do design boards for all the areas of the home. So not only are you making sure everything's cohesive, we're able to get that information to your builder before it starts impacting the budget. Certain things like if you want sconces hanging on your wall, we need to plan for the electric to happen at the right time, and that's no problem. You think about that later on in the process, and that becomes, a significant price increase for what you're doing. So by hiring us at Thiesson Design Co., we start at the very beginning. We're going to go through, the layout of your architectural plans, your site, all of those. And so we alleviate that decision fatigue for the homeowner while also making sure that the decisions that need to be made at the appropriate times are. So we're not, getting a bunch of change orders at the end that are impacting the overall cost of your home. But the biggest thing that a lot of people hire us for in new construction is just that making the house feel cohesive, making sure all of their selections are, what are current, because what's important, especially when you're building a new house or doing a major remodel, is you want to pick trends that have a long lifespan on them and that, haven't already been in style for 15 years and are at the end of their life. You want to make sure that, you're doing a classic design, but that also has longevity because you're investing a ton of money in it.
Absolutely. Those pink bathrooms and the olive green stoves and all of that stuff was in at one point.
It was.
And to this day, you do still see it. I mean, I can't tell you how many homes that I've walked into, and it's still there. But, what's not broken doesn't necessarily need to be fixed until they decide to sell.
True. And I don't know if you get this question a lot, but, I mean, we do a lot of renovations in preparation of selling or for someone who's just bought. And, I think you could probably attest to houses selling quicker if they feel well designed and ready to go. And
they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. And you do make more money.
For sure.
Structurally, we have to go off of square footage. So if it has windows, it has windows. If it has a roof, it has a roof. It doesn't have to be, wood shake or ceramic tile or any of that. It just has to be there as far as an appraiser is concerned. But obviously, aesthetically, you're going to get more buyers.
Yep.
And you have the opportunity to get the price point up because of maybe a bidding process.
Yep.
So obviously, it really does make a big impact.
Absolutely. And that's a thing, a lot of buyers, this community, you have a lot of dual working families, and it's a lot of work. So if a homeowner or a future homeowner feels like that house is going to be too much work for them to get into, they may avoid it altogether. And so that's one of the things that we've come in and alleviate for families, especially if there are two people working in the home. We bring all of the materials and selections to their house, so they're not having to take a ton of time off work and go to a variety of meetings. We have all of those meetings on their behalf and then show them everything. And so from their standpoint, it's very, very streamlined and low impact to them.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be talking more after the break with Tammy Thiesson of the Thiesson Design Company.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
When someone has a passion for what they do, it comes through in the product they provide their customers. Just ask LaRocco's Pizza's new owner, Jason Johnson, about their crust. They make it every day and let it rise for a minimum of 24 hours before they use it for their pizza. And his staff doesn't want to do anything they won't be the best at, and you can taste it in their pizza. LaRocco's Pizza, just a half block north of the I-470 and Gage Boulevard exit. Come taste the difference.
Thanks for joining us again. This is Karey Brown, Associate Broker with eXp Realty and the Preferred Advisors team. and you're listening to Real Estate 101. I am here today with Tammy Thiesson of Thiesson Design Company. And before the break, we were talking about her company and how they make things so much easier. Now let's talk about the fact that you're actually a family-run company.
Yeah. It's really a neat story. So I started the business and run the design portion of it. And then my brother actually, Daniel Carlson, runs the construction side of it. And so it's been awesome. You know, there are some real advantages to knowing someone your whole entire life and just having that really comfortable shared experiences. And so for the design and construction to work together seamlessly, you have to have a really close partnership between the two. And there's a lot of back and forth that happens. You know, when I'm dreaming up a design, I'm going over that with Daniel to make sure, hey, is this something we can do? Can I offer the client this? How does this impact our budget? You know, what's all that going to do? And so there's just collaboration happening the whole time. And then I'm on the job site the whole time that he's, you know, creating that new space and we're going through everything to lay it out. So yeah, it's been such a fun process to be in business with my brother, and we love it. And I get to be the older sister, so there's that too.
Which means she's always in charge.
Maybe a little.
Okay, so during the break, we were talking about great advice that you might give someone whenever they're looking to renovate. What would be your best tips?
My biggest piece of advice is do not design around something you hate. I hear that a lot. You know, I might walk into the house and they hate the cabinet color or the trim color or something about it, but then they want to initially maybe design around it to make that feel appropriate. And I always tell people, let's not design around something you hate, because you're not going to love the end product. We'll neutralize those things, but let's get you what you want, because you can continue that renovation process. Just because you take on the kitchen or a bathroom today doesn't mean that you can't do a future project and keep on that new design theme as you go.
And really often we hear, I would really love to hire someone to renovate the kitchen, but I'm going to need to save money in these other places. What are the projects that you say, listen, if you can do this to yourself?
Right. Yeah. Well, something that, you know, clients will sometimes do is they might demo themselves. So getting things out. I always say, let's prioritize something. So if we can make your kitchen turnkey for you, where we're just going to handle all the rest of it, and maybe we can make suggestions and I can go over design for the bathroom where they themselves can paint the cabinet and get a new mirror, and some of those we can help with the design, but they might be able to do that. Sometimes people want to do parts of it and it ends up costing them more for the amount, because one of the advantages of working with a contractor or a design company is that, you know, we do this day in and day out. And so we know in what order to do everything to keep the project, one, moving at a good speed so you're not out of your kitchen or bathroom forever, and two, so that we're not incurring costs because we got things out of order. And so I see that sometimes too, and we're able to really keep that budget on track with that knowledge.
Which is awesome. I know anytime we've gone in and we've worked with people, a lot of times it's the minor stuff that needs to be done that a typical homeowner could do.
Yeah.
But whenever you walk in and you know there's wallpaper on every wall and it's very specific to a person, or, you know, the bathrooms are pink.
Right.
Or blue. I've seen blue and pink and green and orange.
Oh, man. You've seen it all, haven't you?
Yeah. At this point, I've sold a little over 1,000 homes, and I've been in it for 17 years, so that doesn't even count the ones that I've seen.
Oh, my goodness.
I walked into one time where every single room had a different color of shag.
No, a different color.
Different color.
Patchwork.
Yeah. The whole place. And it was all good until I flipped on a light and turned around and Elvis was standing in.
No.
I screamed. I jumped. Everybody screamed. So that one left an impact.
Yes, for sure. Oh, my goodness. I bet you have stories after stories of being on all these homes.
I often joke that one of these days I'm going to write a book and people ought to hope that I don't name names.
Name names, exactly. Oh, that's so funny.
Don't worry, I won't. And I really don't, honestly. To me, all I look at is structure.
Sure. Yes.
Because everybody's got their own design, or how their house is.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a judgmental person at all. It's just the funny stories in there,
Yes.
that crack me up.
Hilarious.
So have you ever walked into a house and thought, oh my goodness, we need to do the whole thing or anything like that?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, we do that a lot where it's, taking down a wall and redoing all the flooring, maybe on the main floor and a kitchen and all that. Yeah, there's been a house that, I mean, we started on that thing and it was not even anything that you could have possibly imagined living in. And it's beautiful now. And that's the thing I always want to tell people is like, gosh, you can make your house into whatever, as long as you're in the location you want to be. If you love the neighborhood, everything else can change. I mean, there's some costs that are associated with everything changing for sure. But that's, and we see that a lot too. Sometimes we're in a situation where like people are wanting to move into a new neighborhood and like we're coming in there to, I go on a lot of house hunting trips actually with potential clients because they want to know what can be done in this house that I'm looking at. Is this going to fit the bill? And oftentimes there are people that we've already done a project on their past house with that they're maybe thinking of changing. So
that would be awesome just to have a designer that has their own construction company going with you to see houses. Yeah,
we've done that. A lot because it is, if people are wanting to get into specific locations, but at that point we get to know our clients so well. And I mean, they become friends and we learn, how their family functions. And that's a big thing is, I mean, if I was designing a kitchen for you versus somebody else, you are going to have different needs. I mean, believe it or not, I design gorgeous kitchens for people that do not cook but they love to host. So we need a big island. And it's not necessarily about tons of storage for cooking. It's about hosting. And then I have the opposite client who bakes all the time. And we need to make sure that they have a full butler's pantry to, create all these amazing things in. And so I love that about the job is I love getting to know what the unique desires are for each homeowner and how their family lives in a space and then create that space specific to them. And so that's what we do on new, when they're thinking about buying a new house too, is will this work for their family particularly?
I think that'd be awesome. I would imagine that you would want them to pare it down just a little bit so that you're not house hunting all the time.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. Yes. So we don't go to all the houses, but as that process gets fleshed out and they're getting serious about one or two houses, then we do go with them.
I didn't want to leave that hanging out there for people to think, okay, she's just going to shop with me all the time.
Right. That would be fun, but might not get the kitchens done then.
Yeah. And so, obviously, being a business owner, you're a mom, a wife.
Yeah, I am. It's been a crazy couple of years. Yeah. So I have 4 kids, those 4 boys I mentioned, which started this whole thing. My oldest is a 5th grader, and then I actually have twins that are in 2nd grade, and then a little guy in pre-K. So it's a lot. But, my husband works with the business as well, and so we're just kind of all in on this. And, my brother and my sister-in-law are really involved. So it's been a blast, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I love every day on this job. It's a lot, but it's so much fun.
So real quick, tell us how everyone should get a hold of you again.
Okay. So go to my website, www.tdesigncompany, all spelled out, .com. And then there's a little space that you can just say, submit. It'll send me an email right away, and we'll get you lined up with a consultation within a week or 2.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. I've had so much fun talking about this.
And if you're looking to buy or sell, be sure and give us a call at 785-213-5188 or check out our website, preferredadvisorsteam.com. Thanks for listening to Real Estate 101.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Preferred Advisors.